guys, welcome to Bastion Time. I am your host Bastion. This is bastianRANT. Let's get to that rant. Fun trivia, this is actually a re-recording of a rant, and that is because you might have thought that that magic cape business this past week was a bit silly. It was actually practical, because what actually happened is that I recorded all of the footage for that week, went back to review it, and it was all blurry, completely out of focus, so I couldn't use it, so I was going to scrap it and completely re-record it from scratch, but frankly didn't feel like doing that, so I thought, well, whatever, I'll just not have me in it, like that one week where I completely cropped it wrong and just had the images for the news story up. That was going to be what I was going to do, but then I thought, well, I've got to re-record the bastianRANT, though, at least. Because then I thought I should probably do some kind of explanation, like a regular intro that explains why I'm not in the footage. But then I decided to just do a silly cape thing. So now you know what that cape thing is about, and sorry if it was too ridiculous for you, but now you understand why I did it. Anyways, as far as the bastianRANT goes, this is probably not going to be an especially good bastianRANT because I probably vented all of my frustration in the original version that was too blurry to air. But, oh well, let's take another stab at it. So basically, the issue at hand here is the ridiculous rumor about the Shard of Nightmare and how, regardless of how obviously fake it was, a particular Zelda site went ahead and published not one, but so far two, possibly by the time this airs 3 or 4 or 5 news posts about it. Which, by the way, is completely different than all the other Zelda fan sites. You'll probably notice that none of them have posted anything about it, or if they have posted anything about it, they probably said this is 100% a rumor. And as I'm recording this video, the other sites have not posted anything about it, for the very good reason that no respectable Zelda fan site would touch something like that with a 10-foot pole. And I'll explain why. Yes, Zelda fan sites do publish rumors. All fan sites publish rumors, but there's a difference between the type of rumor that you publish and the type of rumor that you don't. You don't publish random emails that somebody sends you saying, I heard from so-and-so that so-and-so saw on such and such place that this next Zelda game is going to be called this, or here's an image that so-and-so sent me that I found. You don't publish that kind of stuff because it's just coming from one person. It has no source, right? You do publish a rumor that has some kind of credible source, like it comes from a tipster who is a known person out there who does sort of find leaks and has been successful at finding leaks that turn out to be legitimate. You do publish those kind of rumors. You do publish things that seem like they could at least be 1% plausible and are out there on like IGN and whatnot. And the reason why you publish those kinds of rumors is because it's kind of fun, but also because you want to be the Zelda spam site that says, here's a ridiculous rumor, it's probably not true, look at it and decide for yourselves. You don't publish things that just come from some Joe Schmo, because really, anybody can send an email to tips at whatever the website's name is, usually that's their email for these kinds of things, and say, oh, I heard from my friend that blah, 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 and they'll just publish that. During my era of being the editor-in-chief for Zelda Universe and then Zelda Dungeon, we'd get inundated with tons of these kinds of rumors, and we wouldn't publish them. The only rumors we would publish are either things that are already making waves out there to say, hey guys, this is just a rumor, it's ridiculous, don't believe it, or if it seemed even slightly plausible. I remember one instance where one of my writers was writing about one of those rumors that, by the way, did turn out to be a fact, but that's another story. But in any case, as I was reading his news post, I thought, it's not crystal clear that this is just a rumor. Please rewrite it so that it is painfully obvious this is just a rumor. So they rewrote it, and then we published it. That's what you want to do. You don't want to put up a ridiculous rumor that has no source, no plausibility, and then, as a certain site does, when people comment about it in their comments, defend it and say, well, it's probably fake, but here are reasons why it could possibly be legit. What is the point of that? You're just making yourself look silly. So, I guess basically what I'm trying to say is that I have major issues with one particular Zelda fan site who is notorious for doing exactly this. Way back, before we knew anything about Skyward Sword, the only thing that we knew about it was a piece of art that depicted Link not holding a sword, and then Fi. But we didn't know her name was Fi, we didn't know anything about her, and this particular Zelda fan site said that they found on some German language fan forum something where somebody said that they knew somebody at Nintendo who was working on the game or working on the localization or something. And here are a list of facts about it. Number 1, the female figure's name is Zordiana. Number 2, all of these things, all of which turned out to be completely bunk. And so thus began the Remember Zordiana meme, because the site has since become notorious for publishing these kinds of things, and being the only site who would stoop so low as to publish these kinds of things. There's a reason why the other sites don't touch this stuff with a 10-foot pole, and it's because, what is the point? So, first of all, I might add, while this whole Zordiana thing was unfolding, I took it upon myself to go to that German fan forum, because I speak a bit of German, and tried to contact. First of all, didn't find the post that said anything about Zordiana. Second of all, tried to contact the person who supposedly said, who made the post, and it got nowhere. I am not completely convinced that such a post ever actually existed. And I'll explain why. Because as it unfolded, it wasn't just one news post that this site posted where they said, oh, here are the things, it's just a rumor. Instead, they said that it was 99.999% likely, and that they were speaking with the source, and that they would have an exclusive interview. These were all different news posts, by the way, that they released, because they got a lot of backlash about how this was ridiculously, obviously fake. So then they put out a news post saying, no, it's 99.999% likely. And then they put out another news post that says, well, we know that it doesn't seem likely, but we know it is. We're speaking with the source right now. We'll have a new interview and news post for you guys soon. So several weeks went by where they were putting out these new news posts, and people were calling them out on their bull. And finally, somebody was going to out them because they had an inside scoop that the site was making it all up and was lying about it. And so finally this site came out and said, yeah, we made it up, we've been lying to you guys, but we thought it was legit because we heard from so-and-so that it was legit, and it's just ridiculous. And so it doesn't stop there, by the way. Each year around E3, this particular site, I'm not going to say their name, you know who it is, they keep posting these kinds of ridiculously fake rumors. Now you might ask yourselves, why? What do they get out of this? Money. It's very simple. The more ridiculous the rumor is that they post, the more traffic they get for people coming to look at their news posts to see, could this possibly be true? So the more traffic they get, the more ad views they get. The more ad views they get, the more money they get. It's very simple economics. They just do this for the money. They don't do it because they're for the fan community, that's for sure. In fact, that's really the only reason. Let's be real here. That's the only real reason why Zelda fan sites exist anyway, is they do generate money from the results of that ad revenue. You might think that the money they generate just barely covers the bills or something like that. I can attest from having worked at 2 Zelda fan sites, that is not the case at all. So they are quite the moneymaker, and the more ridiculous the rumor is, the more revenue they're going to end up getting. So that's why they do it. If you happen to be a fan of this particular site, I'm not saying they're terrible people. Okay, I'm not saying they're terrible people. What I am saying is, don't trust them. They're notorious for doing this. If they're your only source for Zelda Rumors, yikes. And you might ask yourself, well, what's the big deal? It's just a rumor. Well, the big deal is that, unfortunately, some people just skim. Some people just read the headlines and make assumptions and then spread this out. So now it's widespread out there across the internet. The next Zelda game is going to be announced at this year's E3 and is going to be called Shard of Nightmares. And there are going to be a lot of people out there who are disappointed when they find out that that's not the case. There's not going to be a new Zelda Wii U game besides Hyrule Warriors announced at this year's E3. But there are going to be tons of people out there who are going to be like, what the heck? I thought Shard of Nightmare was going to be announced. Where's that at? Come on, Nintendo. All because this one particular Zelda fan site doesn't know what to publish and what not to publish. But anyways, that's it for this rant. I think it turned out okay. Maybe not as good as the one that you'll never see. Oh well. But anyways, see you guys tomorrow for some news. Bye, guys.